Hi, I'm Geoff from Barra.
And I'm Keeghan from Barra.
Well, it's the end of one of the best comps that we have in the Barra comps in Queensland is the ABT Barra Open, and we're just analysing what's happened and feeling quite happy actually.
So we got 8 for the weekend. We got 5 on our second night. So we donated the first session, which was pretty unfortunate. Couldn't find any fish. We got our 5 for the second session. I boated 3, Geoff boated 2. We'd bagged 1 metre fish in there, and on the second session we boated 3. So Geoff got 2 and I got 1.
Yeah, I got the biggest Barra for the session as well, 1.5 metre. Yeah, 105. There were 3 prizes actually. Instead of having one biggest fish for the whole competition, they had a biggest Barra for each round. And Venom, who have been a great sponsors throughout the Barra, really promoting Barra and manufacturing in Australia. They give us a nice bait caster rod each, for one for each biggest Barra per session. We pre-fished for 2 days previous, afternoon sessions, and we never had a hit. We found fish in Quarry Bay, but they were swimming that 18 to 20 foot, and I know at this time of year that's tough fishing, trying to get them to bite. So we decided to spend more time and took us first session on a spot in Cormorant Bay where I fished a couple of times previously, and it's just a nice comfortable spot to fish, and Keeghan were in for it as well, so it was a good team talk that we decided to fish there. And unfortunately they didn't turn up where we were fishing, but we did get a lesson that from someone that helped us look at things a bit differently, and that were a couple of anglers who come in to our left, nothing wrong, 1800 metres, but as they cruised in, it cast and smacked me to Barra straight up first cast. So that gets you back up a little bit from you've been thrashing the water to foam all afternoon, but not a problem with the guys. They didn't do nothing wrong, they just had it go and they got that. But we thought about what we were doing. We stuck it out for that session, but talked it over when we come back, went there next day, and then we moved around the swim, around 20-30 metre increments on the second session until we got to this spot that we thought the fish must be running the skinny water. So where the old weed was, which has been winter weed, so it's not grown thick, it's about 3 metres, 2 to 3 metres below the surface. So what you had were 3 or 4 foot depth in the new water between the bank and the weed, and that's what we worked out, that the fish were swimming rather than normal on the outside of the weed. They'd gone to the inside, a bit warmer, loads of bait. The bait are up there feeding on all the grubs and the shrimps from the extra water, and it's the bait that decide where the Barra go, and that's where they were.
So I think the biggest thing with that as well is a lot of people were finding fish out in deeper water, but once dust sort of come in and settled, a lot of those fish would disappear for them. And we never saw any fish on any of our sounders. I got live 360 side scan, and we never saw not one fish for almost the whole 5 days we were here.
Slick rigs that's been our favourite lure and over the years, but what's happened around the dams up to this week is the dams have come up, gone down, come up, gone down, and as it's been doing that, the weed is getting thicker and thicker on the edges. So now you're looking at 18 to 20 foot weed edges. So slickies can't handle that, they can't get down to that depth. So then mollocks became because like a mollocks is a lot heavier, so you could get them down and keep the line that you needed. But a mollocks in that condition, what we'd have fished today, were just too heavy. So we tried numerous lures, different colours, but we chose the half weight black and gold with the green dip tail. And that's what we caught 7 of the 8 fish.
Yeah. Yep. I was using a Edge Rod Black Widow 705. So it's a 4000 Stella FI, a pretty older model. Still like great reel. I can't fault them, and obviously you get the old slick rig there with the green dip tail. And this is one of Geoff's homemade rig jobs with the Stinger.
Yeah, this one is the what we call the biggest Barra on. It's the only fish we caught about 1.5 metres on the live mullet in Fat Betty, and the rod's ACM Aaron McCall rod. Fantastic rod, great, but I've only had it probably 12, not even 12 months, with the new Surte, 20 pound coastal camo Suffix 832. And with the water being so clear, we stuck to the 55 pound Schneider. We didn't go to the 70 what we normally fish. Yeah, basically, and I think Keeghan's...
I run very similar. I just got mine in the neon green, Suffix 832, 20 pound, and yeah, the Schneider 55 pound leader, and can't fault it. It is light gear for the Barra we're chasing, but the area that we're fishing was acceptable for it. It was good. So we had a tactic. So Geoff and I, we made a tactic. So the spot we were on, where the weed heads tapered off, there was a brush pile, and I made it my goal to keep aiming on the right of that brush pile and not, as boring as it sounds, I just kept hitting the same spot over and over and over again, and I let Geoff just fan about just to cover more of an area, and it worked. It worked.
Yeah.
It worked, so...
Yeah, I did concentrate the other side of the brush pile. Last night, the third session fished different to the second session. That boring them to death, as we call it, by hitting the same spot, didn't work. So I picked 2 up on casting more down the further and down, long casts. So I was trying to get more distance in the skinny water with a 45-degree cast rather than casting straight out. But you know, you could cast on the bank. You could cast on the bank and let it hit the bottom and just pop it up, because it were grass, there were no weed there, and it come back nice. And then as it were coming back, say we maybe had 15 metres of skinny water, and as the lure come back and got to the edge of the old weed, that's where they hit it. Throughout all sessions, we're the only team that got a bag, a 5-fish bag on that one in the second session. But we could see Tommy and Robbie Wood just behind us on 4 kilo difference. So, and like you say, with this weight conversion, you know that somebody can catch you 3 big fish, 4 big fish, and they can come over you. So we went in saying that anyone could win this comp, even though they hadn't caught a fish, if they got on a little pile. So we went in thinking that. So the thought were, we needed 2 fish to stay in the hunt, as in the cash prizes, and 3 fish, you know, and as the day went on and we were following the leaderboard, it were looking like it were okay, but then for the last 2 hours we didn't know what had happened, and that was the prime time the previous 2 nights. Well, last night it wasn't for us. We struggled in that last hour. So we were thinking that, you know, somebody could have come over us. Oh. But as it turned out, we still won with a decent lead.
This old fella right here, I couldn't have done it without him. I could have, but I wouldn't be where we are now if he wasn't here. He's a wealth of knowledge, and...
yeah, thanks for that.
That's right,
from my point of view, I guess family, my wife, you know, she puts up with me. And Lawrence have been great to me. I'm a Lawrence ambassador, and you know, their systems just work for me. People have different opinions, but I love my Lawrences. But I think most of all is the way the ABT are turning the tournaments. I wish sometimes, I can't look back being younger, but the potential that's coming because the technology changes in fishing is massive. You know, we can get nearer to how Americans do it with live coverage and everything like that. But there's one thing that the anglers have to realise. If they want to take angling further, it's not about them. It's about the group, the public. You can turn it closer to a spectator sport than what it's ever been. We can bring sponsors on for advertising and bring more money into good competitions. But remember, it's not about you, it's about the collective. But most of all, in the background is a lady who carries Steve Morgan. Nicole does a fantastic job. She's so easy to talk to, get on with, helpful, and she needs more recognition for what she's done to turn the fishing around here.